This broadcast is inappropriate for all ages, right here on the house that Kamurai built. It's the Vlogcast. And I am Kamurai here talking about things and stuff going on in my life. No, Ivory, that's not your napkin. Kitty wanted a paper towel. Sometimes she gets up on my desk or towards my desk and just enjoys seeing what moves. It's typically where she finds her little apple stems and apple seeds. I'm trying to face on. I'm used to the camera being there. I'm trying something different today. Hopefully that's actually a good set there. And when she walks across the desk, she's not sticking her butt in the camera because it's right where she likes to stop, where the camera was. So there, even now she's there. I used to have my camera up on top of my main monitors, but my main monitors used to be closer to like my chest, and now I've got this desk that my buddy gave me, and it's got an elevated setup where my monitors go, and so now up top it feels like it's too far. Like that's what up top looks like. Maybe you'd get out of my way, cat. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. I think it was just difficult to get anything but the floor in when it's focused down on me like that. Yeah. That's not horrible, but I still like this better for right now, and this is what I did in the preview when I looked at it. So still can't like sit in front of the other cameras. Like I've got this like for this broadcast, I multi-stream a lot. Like I've got that's good. I'm glad I didn't cover that up. I've got the phones for Meerkat and Periscope up as well. I don't know if they work, but they're there. I've seen people come into Meerkat, and actually it looks like a couple people are there now. And it always seems like Meerkat is much more of random people, and Periscope tends to be people that actually follow you. For whatever reason, and that's fine. It's great. Everybody's welcome. I've got kitties here, so occasionally that's the entertaining bit. And that's honestly, I've had like 50 people watch me play with cats a couple times. So, hey, it is what it is. What it is. Now the camera just not full. Like I don't want it any lower because I want the stuff in the background. But so I guess I just gotta sit higher. Maybe I should raise the chair. I don't know. So life is a funny thing. It gets in the way. It just I don't know. With the way work is going right now, I'm not clocking as many hours, and I'm on an hourly pay. So I'm not enjoying the idea that I'm not getting as much as I could be. So I miss being salary. So that's a thing. And I've started back into the market, looking for a proper job, or at least something more stable and like proper paperwork and not potentially illegal. Not like I'm breaking law, like I'm committing crimes. I'm just trying to work. I'm getting paid. It's just whether or not the business is checking all the blocks it needs to, and whether or not that liability actually falls to me as an independent contractor running his own business. Because the guy who's running the business is gonna be that type of person, whatever. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's just life. We'll fix it one together. Oh boy, it's happier to think about like D&D and like trying to play. Like I felt so bad because they're like, I'm a spellcasting cleric and I should really know how to do my thing better. And I was like, oh, I'm sure like if you just look it up, it's right there. And I couldn't find it. And I eventually found some of it, like, but I just I lean in too much. I don't like it. But I like the group a lot. They're a bunch of good people. Whether they're eccentric or funny or just enjoyable to be around. I'm actually looking forward to the one shot campaign Andrew's doing. I'm thinking about inviting them into some other projects. Of course, Jen and Danielle, I work with sort of on other things. Mika seems very open to the idea as well, and she is so lovely. She really makes me feel good about myself and just generally happy about some stuff. So it's really nice to be hanging around her, and she I could do anything for her. Like I think we work very symbiotically well together as far as that's and it's real nice to be able to do things for people when they need something there. Um, oh man, and we try to be there for other people like when they're doing stuff. Like I had a friend recently had a pet pass away who's like part of their family, and like she just recovering, and then somebody else is having boyfriend and business issues. There's that whole thing about whether or not you should be mixing business and pleasure or friendship, even romanticism, and it's really a terribly tricky subject. No matter what you end up doing with it, whether it goes well or poorly, whether you have any control in that or not, whether or not uh, on you at all. Like it's a mess, and it's going to be troublesome. And if you are having problems in one side, it takes a lot not to have that carry over to the other side. Um, oh God, and it's just I don't know. But part of me is like, if you're going to bother to do a business or a project or anything, have it be a good one, and like have it be the best it can be, even if that means that you've got to take a back seat to something, and that's what it is. I know that I have board games and card games and whatever that I'm trying to push out and bring to life, and I think the first iteration where like they're truly like going to be in front of people is going to be on Tabletop Simulator, more than they already have. So with that in mind, I know that they're going to have to change and take some shape with uh, other people's input, and I'm gonna have to take a back seat to the testers and like, what do you like about this? What don't you like about this? What aspects do you feel are missing? And that's more about what experience they're getting that they would or would not be getting game. So not like necessarily like, well, what should I add and like how should I do this? I know for a fact that I'm out of my depths in a couple different facilities, especially like in art, sound, music in particular. I can do dialogue. Um, and then like I just uh, coordinate some things. I've got to find people that I can work with, and ideally, it's so funny. Like the I think this is the first really meaningful back and forth I've ever had with Sammy Reeds from the Weirdlings, was about this, about finding like a partner, something to work with, do it. And I was like, yeah, if you figure it out, tell me. Otherwise, you can pay someone however cheaply to do stuff with you. I think that's what it's got to have to come down to eventually. I've got to check a couple other boxes. Of course, I'm letting hobby stuff get in the way of that, because I essentially took like whatever startup budget I would have had for that, and I threw stuff because I wanted it. Um, and as long as I keep enough for like rent and bills and stuff, I think that's all right. Uh, we'll see how it goes and forward, move forward. It's all you can do is move forward. Um, okay. Like Meerkat is weird about that things. Interesting that I don't know. The holders I have for the phones don't allow me to see the chat properly, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I built these to facilitate need. I really wish I had my 3D printer, but I'm also glad that they're delaying it for so long. If you don't know, I backed the Tico 3D printer, and I definitely want that thing, and I can't wait for it to be a real product. Um, and it'll be the cheapest I could possibly have gotten a 3D printer. And by the time it comes out, it should stay up to date, and it'll be up to speed. The only thing I'm missing is a scanner, but whatever. And I've got to get better at 3D modeling aspects somehow, whether it's in Blender or I get Maya or I go into Unity and do it. I've got to figure out a way to do stuff, and if I can, then I'll 3D print equivalent carousels with this. with the face open, so I can just work on the phone there. I could probably get away with it in some way, shape, or fashion now if I cut away that piece and then uh, duct tape magicked it all up. But I don't really want to go that far with it. I'm happy for just the boxes to hold the screens in place, or the phones in place, and hopefully I can work with it from there. Really odd enough thing to even have done this in the first place, to be multi-streamed to so many different sites, let alone on mobile apps as well. So yeah, it's just interesting project. Sure. Now, I had somewhere I was totally leading this. I don't remember where it was. Um, Backwards. Oh, I think I lost it. I was talking about projects coming up and doing stuff. Tabletop Simulator. Show notes for this show too. I hate show notes. Like, I really do. Like, it's something I've done to try to increase the content uh, of my other shows throughout the week. Which this is Hump Day. I forgot to mention this is not the regular day I usually do the vlogcast. I usually do the vlogcast on Thursdays, but due to some scheduling errors, I've flipped your movie club to Thursday, and because I normally do this on Thursday, I did it today. Even after D&D, it's rough. I'm kind of glad that we're not going to do your movie club after D. But I committed to just being tired after by the end of it, anyways. And I listened to Jim Sterling put out Spin Doctors or Spinoff Doctors again, and or the Movie Boys as he calls it, and Cameron, or I think that's his name, does such a good job of his like scene by scene. It's where I got the idea. I'm not gonna hide that fact at all. It's Jim Sterling's thing is actually the thing that really got me back to wanting to do it, because it's like, oh, I'm listening to people talk about movies again. I really like this. I want more of this back in my life. It's a thing I miss, and I don't necessarily miss people I was doing it with, given a save few, but and any of those people I'd love to hang out with, work on anything together with, whether playing a game, just doing a stream, or whatever. So much I would like to do things like that, and honestly, I'd love to get more people roped into this, and We Are Movie Club to be able to do a rotating thing very similar to Co-optional Podcast. I'm very open about where my influences come from, because it theoretically would help support them, and then it gives them credit for the ideas. And Total Biscuit even admitted that he ripped that off from Angry Joe, I think, the 4-panel whatever. And I can use a minicam to do that fairly easily. Like right now, if I go to, got this mouse is dying, I need to grab batteries. But if I go to 4 panels, and like, of course you can't see this, you're listening to the audio. If I go to 4 panels, I can just stick people in here and then do an overlay that has their thing. Like, I still got to do the graphic for your movie club. The voices, this, you're unaware, and so like I want to do like a little dog, a little cat in the, because that's typically what we do for that graphic. Is we keep it simple. We color We Are Movie Club somewhere somehow, and then we put stuff in. I'm all about people doing high quality video or whatever. I'm all about people doing high quality content, whatever you want to call it, production value, and doing like moving intros and whatever. But I like keeping things simple. The way that things are now, they're simple enough that I can just do them no matter what I'm using. I can flip through cards on either minicam or OBS, and probably other things if I wanted to as well. I'm not saying that I couldn't like play a video through OBS over the minicam stuff. That's done playing, it returns the minicam and do things. So there are ways, but then I got to manage how many instances OBS I have. The like FireTalk, YouNow, and Ustream are all actually running directly off the minicam, because it's treating that as the camera. The Periscope Meerkat, I can't do anything about the graphics. Like, there's no incorporation there, and they really should work on that. If you're gonna bother to do something like this, like that, I would imagine you include PC, because the one platform that can go anywhere except your phone, and then that's what the app side is for. Already got it on the app side, and you've already got it where you can put on not TV browser like Periscope, and then go the extra mile with it. Just how I feel. Change anything. Um, but yeah. So looking forward to working on other project stuff. Like I said, like a little simple graphics, and I'm gonna find a simple art style to do some other things in, and hopefully it works out. I'm not gonna be a great artist. I'm not gonna be a Daniel Deverona, but hopefully it'll be good enough. And if I can do something that's good enough as a concept, especially for the things I want to do, we can always iterate them up and make them better. The visual novel project, or at least the first one, especially, is going to be designed very much like a visual novel software. Do versions of it, and upgrade the images, upgrade the sound, include music, whatever. I did find a way to do background music using the soundboard generator, essentially. I don't know if that's what you call it, but it's like a little grid, and you just mark tempo and then what sound effects you want there, and it'll run it on a loop. You can actually mix it up and everything fly if you want to compose that, but I don't think that's really the point. I think the point is set it up and play it as you do. So you just have it go whatever you come up with. Loop, just very much like our old 18, 16-bit, 32-bit video games. Yes, Tux? I don't know. I don't think I agree with that. I think you get plenty of pets. I think it's ridiculous that you're like, you never get pet. You're fluffy and everyone hates you. Yes, they do. Fluffy. You're a monster. Ow, what are you doing with your claw? Jeez, I don't know why you were standing so hard. It was just his back foot just standing on me, but it just felt like all his weight was on one claw point. Ugh. Man. Yay. So, it's the life. Oh, I'm not even on the right channel, am I? Damn it, cat, move. Channel am I on? I'm on Jam on Toast. Shit. Oh, how long have I been up? I did like half a dozen checks. That's the one that gets by me. I don't have my bar up. What the fuck is... Damn it, YouTube. That's probably a good point to it. I don't know. I could obviously tell what channel I was on. So we're just going to keep on with this, and I'll bring it down and back up later. I've done it before. I'll do it again. God damn it. But now I can see how long we've been up, and it was there in the chat. Part of this is that you're supposed to be consistent to some degree. So that, but like whatever. I just want to do my thing, and if people see it, great. Especially this one. This one's such a ridiculous one that just me talking about like me and my stuff, and I don't find that my nonsense particularly entertaining. Like, I mean, obviously, I played D&D, and we did Super Dungeon Explorer, and I talked about that more on PlaySpot, and then the 12-hour stream on Friday, and then between those two, I didn't get a lot done in between them, but I did go socialize, and socializing went well, as I've mentioned, um, and a thread of that will continue. So that'll be, um, hobbying. Oh yeah, I told myself that I wasn't allowed to get any more games until I finished the unboxing videos for the games I had, and that's not entirely my fault because it was the Ninja All Stars and Tano Curry stuff is left. I was having plays, but now I've gotten my Tano Curry replacements twice over. I've got actually extra stuff, top of the extra stuff that I actually deserved. So it's life's crazy with that, and I'll get that finished off eventually. I think I got it all synced up finally. That's such a bitch for that many tracks. Because it's like 5 or 6 tracks, and Adobe Premiere is so fucking. Yeah, let me go off on a rant about this. Adobe Premiere just has some of the most non-intuitive, fucking rigid, fucking practices. It's really frustrating to deal with. It's like, well, I have everything I want on this track. I just want it one track up, and you can't do that. There's a way you can supposedly copy the track and then move it, but then you've got to like make extra tracks so you can those things off of there and then move the thing there and then shift everything that you want elsewhere. And all I want is just the sound that matters, video that matters to be in the same place. Um, and just scrolling up or down on the things doesn't matter. And it's in reverse order. So if you're looking at your video, it goes video 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, it actually goes from bottom to top 1, 2, 3, and then the audio goes 1, 2, 3 down, so that the audio 1 and video 1 are closest together, and then you've got audio 2 and video 2, which have video 1 and audio 1 in the way, so you can't see them together. Which to me is very frustrating because it's like I just want my audio all layered the same way and want my video all layered the same. And if you end up accidentally combining audio tracks when you're shifting and correcting it, it'll actually cut off and delete the other audio. I think it is the same thing with video. It just happens more often with audio because I'll end up unlinking everything and then reordering it how I want it to be. Or in the very least, I'll put the separately recorded audio to sync at the top, and then I'll start syncing all the video off that. And then once I get that linked up, I'll do all that. And I just know it's twice as difficult and twice as intensive as doing it in Sony Vegas. Like, I never thought I'd be promoting that program, but for all the weird problems, difficult nonsense I've had with that, it's reliable and it's quick, it's intuitive. Whereas Adobe is not. And I get people are all about Photoshop, but I don't know it well enough. I don't find it useful when I'm going to use it. I'd much rather use GIMP. GIMP is essentially the free version. Not only is it free, but I find it fairly useful for a lot of things. There are some things that are not intuitive in GIMP, especially when you're adding scripts and plugins. But it is what it is. What it is. Can't do much about it. Yeah, and honestly, when it's free, it's hard to complain about. And if I'm paying for Adobe Photoshop, I'm paying for the suite, like $50 a month to rent it. So I'm paying for the suite, but I'd still rather use the free option. Like, I think that gives me the right to say that there's weirdness and problems. And in fairness, like, I haven't used it because it's not as convenient. Yep, and I've already got like projects that have, sorry, master projects that have a lot of the sub projects, the project files in GIMP already, and it's hard to migrate those out. It just doesn't seem a lot of point. For the projects that like just need something to end up as a card or a picture card, that's another thing entirely. But um, now I'm thinking about all the files that I ended up creating for Dungeon Explorer, and that's upsetting me because gee, and then we had some legibility issues with that too. So I'm probably gonna revisit those cards at some point. I can't get more legible card out there, and which makes it really difficult because it's perfectly legible on the website or like the source, but not legible like in the game as much. I think it's mainly because you're like zooming it in, and then you're working at probably such a high resolution, anyways. So I'm working at like 920 by 1080 resolution on my screen normally for tabletop simulator. And the card loads up and it's whatever size it is, and I zoom in and it sorts it. So I'm gonna have to look at that. Late. I like living the early life. I like getting up early, going in, getting things done, and then that way I have time to still run errands or whatever. And for whatever reason, not how things in the industry work. I don't like it. What I need to do is find a way to convince myself to get up early and just work on my stuff and go in when I need to go in. I can't convince myself that that's right now. Like I've just been sleeping until I wake up, then I go into work, which is a satisfying sleep. I'll be honest, but it's not like I feel like I have less control over it. But I'm actually getting rest I need because the time I need to be asleep occurs within that period. It's really weird because I think if I stayed up till like 2 or 4 in the morning and slept till 8, like I'd be fine because that's sometimes what happens. Like I'll be up till 11 or midnight. Like right now it is quarter till midnight, and like I'll put on a movie. Like I'll finally go to bed around this time, and then I'll put on a movie and go from there. And like I may or may not fall asleep during the movie. I may be up long enough to put on a second movie or TV show or whatever, and doesn't seem to matter because it seems like if I stay up past like 10, then my body's like, oh well, we're staying up for the next shift, aren't we? Aren't we? I think I ruined myself in the army. I spent so much time being like, hey, this is when I'm gonna stay awake. This is when we do things, and this is this and this, and my body just couldn't take it, and I just started learning how to appreciate sleep because I didn't want to be able to deal with it. But you just run into weird times where you're like, oh, I've got to be up for 48 hours. 24 to 48 hours, depending upon what's happening. And if you're insomniatic or if things are really that important are going around, you do your 24. You wake up in the morning, do whatever you do. Then you report at a certain time for your 24-hour shift. So you're staying up through your sleep cycle, through the time you would normally get up out of bed, through all the way to when you started your shift the previous morning. Then you get released, and it varies. It varies a lot about what happens next. There were times where like I had to go to work and take care of stuff because it had to be done by like that evening or the following evening. I didn't get enough of it done, or I couldn't get it. That was the worst. It's like knowing that I could get stuff done during my 24-hour shift, but not being able to do it because this wasn't open. This person wasn't available. Not the best feeling. So you do what you had to do. Of course, there were times where like I'd sleep and then like I'd get a call at 1 in the morning and be like, "Oh, this is Lieutenant. I need you to go to this drop zone." And then I'd go to that drop. I'd actually get up fast in a hurry, get my ass out to that drop zone to pick up the lieutenant. And it turns out he's at a different drop zone because he didn't know where he was. And it's honestly not that uncommon, but you think ask somebody and confirm like where you're at, and maybe he did that. Maybe, and they got it wrong too. but normally you know what drop zone you're jumping. So in theory, you should know what drop zone you end up at, and if you leave that drop zone, uh, know what, basically where you are at, where you're walking to, and what drop zone you end up at. Now, there are a dozen scenarios where that could not that could happen. And if you don't know what I'm saying when I say drop zone, is I used to jump out of airplanes for a living for the army, and it was no big thing. But a drop zone is the field or area control that you were jumping out of the plane and supposedly landing in. And if you know anything about this procedure, that can vary a lot, especially if the plane goes long or starts jumping early. Um, there's a there's any number of reasons for both those things to happen. It could both be on the pilot, or it could be on the jump master, because the pilot runs a course, and if he has to vary that course, the jump master doesn't have a lot of say in that, and so he can choose to start jumping, having people jump out whenever he thinks it's safe. So sometimes people would land on highways, sometimes they would land in lakes or trees. It's really kind of funny where and how people ended up being, and you just dealt with it. So maybe maybe it's just being woken up and told to go out somewhere in the middle of the morning and then have it be for nothing that people are irritated about. But it happened multiple times with different officers. Now I'll be granted, granted, anytime it was above a captain, there might have been one captain that was a douchebag, but anytime it was above a captain, for sure, they knew exactly where they were. They knew exactly where to call me to have them be picked up, and never a problem. It's really just the newer folks that get moved around, because as you go up in whatever, you don't shift around as much. Say that. So it's an interesting place, and like if you're considering the military or the army or whatever, definitely go in, do your like 3 years or 4 years, whatever they're requiring now. And I would even suggest get out or find a way to go to reserves, and then go, like, you know what, God, if find a benefit out of it. If you needed to go to school or whatever, I would say that, because that's kind of what I did. I would say, yeah, get out and go to school. Find a livable trade. But at the same time, now it's like the way the world works, the way the internet is. Like, no, fuck school. Just go learn and start doing whatever you want to do. You want to make video games? Get out there and learn how to make a video game. And do from there. My problem, my stops in this, and you're younger, especially, you can over this easier, and you can find places that group together and do things. That I need proper art, and like that's my biggest hitch in it. And the projects that I want to do, I may or may not have the necessarily technical precision to do these things, and that's fine. Like, I don't have it now. I could probably start doing it and then learn and learn and learn. But there are simpler projects that I want to get out of the way first, and then I will move to those more different projects. There's a lot that I want to do, and there's not enough time in the day to do. You could call that, like, media, social, or not the new media stuff, like a detriment or not, but it's, how do I say it? Something I enjoy doing. I want to keep doing it. I want to keep doing this. And I need that sort of outlet. It's definitely the most quick to turn around. Like, you could spend time editing videos and everything. It's big overhead, and like, more power to you if you do that, because it is a respectable skill to do it well. And even then, you still got to do marketing. I don't do marketing. Probably my biggest problem with this is a thing. But I'm happy to do overhead or podcast at minimal overhead. Though, like, I have several channels, and that increase. Of course, I don't even know how to. I don't even know. Somebody asked me like, "Oh, where can I go see your stuff?" And I was like, "I don't even know how to get you to everything." So what I really need to do is I need to make a business card. Yes, that did come up. I need to make a proper business card, especially by the summer. I actually go to VidCon. I need to go with business cards, which is stupid because I can't imagine. Like I tell people, like when I take their business card, I'm going to lose this. Let me take a picture of it. It doesn't make sense. Business cards it makes sense that you hold it up, that I snap a picture, and that I have the information. Um, or that maybe even I put it on Instagram and promote you a little bit. Um, we'll have to see. As long as your name isn't like Raging Nazi Boner or something, I think that's a fair thing to do. Um, okay. Back to that phone. Uh, but I really had a point. Promise. Oh, it's like I got dementia. Oh, brain. I hate when my brain doesn't work. Body breaks down. Whatever. Um, literally trying to remember what I was talking about 5 seconds. Gone. Oh, people and things. Yeah, business cards. But like you should be able to hold it up and they snap a picture and walk away with all the information. I should set up a web page specifically for it as well. So be like, hey, here's all the pages that you need to know for my for my social media type stuff. Um, my social media and new media stuff. It is. Uh, I've got something equivalent to that, so maybe I just need to fix that. And yeah, it's not so bad. It's good to note, like, when you're like, oh, I need that, and I almost have that. I just need to dust it off and clean it and polish it, and then, oh, look, got a new living room centerpiece. And in my head, I was trying to think of Dr. Seuss words that you might recognize, and I can't think of any. Um, tired, I guess. Got another thing or two before I fall sleepies. Especially I've got to transfer this over to the right YouTube channel. Boy, boy, my life things, and it's not like it's a bad life. Um, seems like there's lots of weird things go on, and it's like, why did I do that? More often than not, it comes down to something trying to play it off on too many other on other people for too many things. But if you were listening tonight or today, like on Meerkat alone, I don't know why Meerkat always seems to be the high number, but it looks like 41 people popped in and out, and someone left as I was saying that 42. So it's really interesting to see what works because like interesting. But hopefully something was entertaining, and thank you for watching. If you want to see anything else we're up to? Oh, I guess we're not there yet. So until you see me next time, I am Kamurai. Have a nice day. If you want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations. They'll take you to our other channels. Thanks for watching.